It is, yes, get in. Oh, I didn't think that was going to work then. This video is about social services. Oh, yes. Something I've got a lot of experience of, both sides of the fence. When I used to work for Connections as a personal advisor, as a professional working with a fellow professional, in the bid to help a person. So the young person would come to me if they were, say, I don't know, anywhere between 13 to 21 with additional needs. They could use the connection service to gain access and information, and it's like careers advice and help you get on training schemes, give you benefit advice, take you to a job centre. Basically, I worked in a team of 50 for Connections in the central office on Broad Street. As a personal advisor for the connection service, did a diploma and everything, and I had a caseload, so I would work with, say, 20 people, have a manager over me, and record everything. So you document everything's evidence-based practice. You've got to record everything you do, else it doesn't exist. So, for example, if I were to see a young person for an hour and I didn't record that, that didn't exist, and you get an absolute fucking bollocking. What had you been doing for an hour with a young person? It looks dodgy as hell. So that's one of my sticklers with social services. They never record paperwork properly, in my experience. And I had to meet with one yesterday. It fucked me right off, it did, because the case has been closed to the best of my knowledge. The case was opened when we got evicted because of school phone social services. Rightly so. I didn't mind. I held my hands up. I was like, okay, get the social worker out then. And I was expecting, in all honesty, for them to say, right, you can't cope, Rachel, because in your situation, Jasmine's to go to foster care or something like that, because I thought, well, I can't really look after her in a hotel in Northampton, so but they didn't. They said, nah, she doesn't require foster care. It's not good for the child, it's not good for the parent, and there are no spaces anyway, essentially, so tough, you've got to cope. So I did. And I met with this social worker the following week, and in the school with a teacher for a bit, and on my own for a bit as well. And I answered all the questions honestly and everything like that, and held my own. And her recommendation, get this, was I should engage in smoking cessation because that's Jasmine's money I'm using on tobacco. She goes, how many cigarettes do you smoke? I said, no, I don't count. I don't count how many cigarettes I smoke a day. I sometimes buy what I call real cigarettes. I sometimes buy rolling tobacco. And I don't give a shit how much I smoke. That's my business. It's not Jasmine's money. I get my own money for that. So she can fuck off with that. I did some research. And all I could identify online was that social services are ideally placed, the government say, to engage people who struggle with nicotine addiction, to engage in smoking cessation. I say she was prejudiced, probably didn't smoke herself yet, and I'm there really bewildered, just been evicted, living in Moseley, right? And the last thing on my mind is, oh, how can I vape? Do you know what I mean? What ridiculous advice. Anyway, I thought, I'm not fucking doing it. So I didn't do it. And then she goes, you're very isolated, aren't you? And I thought, not really. But I guess to her, on that day, I presented as being isolated. So she goes, you need to engage in a women's group. I thought, that's the last thing I need. And she goes, yeah, it's called ANWIM. And I went, all right, what does that mean? And she goes, well, basically, you go there to create a CV. I thought, I'm signed off work, for fuck's sake. And engage with other women. And so I went, yeah, okay. Anything just to get out of the meeting, really. And when it came to it, it was on the other side of the city, yeah. And it was really culturally inappropriate. And I just thought, no, I'm a white British woman, 46. I ain't going to some women's group that just wasn't for me. So I didn't do it. I didn't accept the recommendations. Yeah, they're the only two recommendations they had. And obviously, to care for Jasmine. Well, they see Jasmine at school every day. She's always well turned out, and although she spent the 6 weeks not wanting to go to the school, she fucking loves it now and she excels. So that's the main thing. Anyway, I get to pick her up from school yesterday. I've been told the case has been closed from a support worker, right? I met with him once. That's it, once. So I had 2 meetings in the past 2 months, yeah, and they've closed the case. And she phoned me the other day and I was out and I was just like, I'm not picking up. You've closed the case. Don't speak to me because you've forgiven me fuck all input in 2 months, yeah? She's given me nothing. Let me just read this little letter out that I've written our manager, okay? To whom it may concern, I'd like to register a complaint about my daughter's social worker. I'm sorry, I don't know her surname or which team she is from, as she's never told me this information. My daughter said blah, 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 blah. Basically, I met with blah for a meeting over 2 months ago now and have heard zero from her since. Nothing. No call, no text, no contact, nothing. Why, please? You must and will explain in writing for my purposes of paperwork. Thank you. And there's more. I haven't sent this off yet, but I only wrote it today. Blah, blah, called 2 days ago now, wanting to speak to me, not sure why. I did text back saying, what do you want to talk about? And text, please, because I'm busy. Then yesterday, I go to pick my daughter up from school, and she's there, unannounced, expecting me to drop everything and meet her. Basically, the teacher comes out going, can I borrow you for 15 minutes? I said, what? Why? I've got things to do. I had to be somewhere. And I said, that's a long time, isn't it? I said, it's 4:20 now. What for? And she goes, oh, blah, blah's here to see you. I said, is she? Unannounced, is she? What do I need to see her for? The case is closed because she just wants to have a little chat. I said, I didn't say she can fuck up. I basically said, I'm not doing it. No, I've got to be somewhere. Tell her to text me, yeah? So I'm stood outside school, choir's going on, or everyone's looking at me because I'm really irate. I've got my headphones on, and the teacher tries to coerce me inside, going, Jasmine's just in her classroom putting her coat on. Would you like to come and collect her? They never do this. They can't wait to get fucking rid of the kids. I said, no, I'm all right, thanks. I'll just stay here, yeah. Go and get her now, will ya? I've got to be somewhere. So she goes, oh, okay then, really defeated. I thought, fuck off. And she goes and gets Jazz eventually, but she doesn't. They keep Jazz inside while I'm stood outside with the headphones going, seething at this point, right? Okay, how long does it take to get your fucking coat on, Jasmine? Hurry up. And there's this woman comes out. I didn't even recognize. I thought, who the fuck's that? And she's got a visitor's badge on, upside down, right? So I can't even read the name. And she's just stood in front of me, and I've got my glasses, I've got my hood up, I've got my earphones on. And if you've got your hood, you can't tell that I haven't got them on now, but you can't tell you've got earphones on. I thought, what do you want? And she goes, and so I paused my music, yes. And she goes, I'm blah blah. And I went, oh yeah? So I didn't even recognise you. And she goes, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. She says, can I have a chat with you? I said, no, I'm sorry, I've got to be somewhere. You can't just turn up unannounced, expect me to drop everything because it suits your needs, not mine. And she goes, oh. I said in front of the head teacher, yeah. I said, a bit of support might have been nice. You ain't contacted me, you've closed the case. What do you want my time for today? Because it suits your needs, not mine. So I was absolutely fuming. And so I've just continued the letter to say, I had to be somewhere. Intimidation by a so-called social worker is completely unacceptable in my books. I will not tolerate such poor service when my daughter Jasmine deserves the best care she can receive, not the worst. Please replace my daughter's social worker with immediate effect. Many thanks and kind regards. And then I've put my name, etc. So I'm going to send that off. And I text the social worker and I said, look, pretty much, how dare you? I started with those words, how dare you turn up unannounced, again saying, because it suited you, not me, today, to speak to me. You've given me nothing in 2 months. No scrap of advice, no direction, no support, nothing. I have no trust in you. I've never seen you. I didn't even recognise you. I'll be writing to your manager first thing, which I did do. I haven't sent it off yet though. I'll do that on Monday. I don't even know where she works. I don't even know where to address the letter to. That's how much I know about this social worker, yeah. And I said to Jasmine on the way to school this morning, I said, if a woman called blah blah comes in, yeah, you to tell me, right, you to tell the teacher you ain't speaking to her, they're to call me immediately and I'll put her straight, yeah. But I don't think she has been in. I ain't had no calls from the school. I nearly messaged the school. I thought, if you try and pull that trick on me again with social services, you can fuck off. I won't be engaging in stupid parent groups that you like me to engage in. I won't be being nice to you. You'll see a different side to me. So I don't know. That's my experience this time around of social services. I have had them before in the past. Everybody knows. It's all on the internet. And the social worker couldn't have been more helpful. She was lovely. She was delightful. In fact, in the end, I brought her a box of fucking chocolates to say thank you. She nearly cried and so did I. So there you go. But this one is an absolute piece of shit.